Let's get this blue milk and the space bread.
Goodbye.
Okay.
I wasn't gonna interrupt your magic.
No, you can't.
No.
In fact, you should.
No.
Please. Oh my god. All right,
Ready? Welcome to Chess Talk, episode 231. Hello. I hope you guys endured the 230 episode. That was an episode. It came out on an appropriate day of the year, I guess.
I just want to apologize because I don't remember it because it was 4 months ago.
Yes.
And it must not be that entertaining.
I thought it was fun.
It can't be.
I thought it was cool.
Okay.
Tyler is
Was
here.
I on 230?
You were not.
No. So we recorded it.
You said months ago.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute.
We recorded it in Seattle with Rob and Madeline. We played Settlers of Catan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we recorded 215, 220, and 230 all in one sitting.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. Don't tell
And
them that.
we
All
got
these are live.
Oh, no, they know.
These are all live.
It was. I think it's very obvious
Yeah.
because, like, you could, if you go back now and listen to those episodes in a row, you'll see like the progression of how much alcohol we were drinking.
Yeah, this is a live. We have a live studio audience.
Yeah, Chloe's on the ones and twos.
Yeah, that's right.
So hello, welcome back, welcome to the new year.
Welcome.
I figured we would actually start the new year because 230 doesn't count to be recorded.
Yeah. We cheated.
I was waiting for you to finish yawning.
I want them to know I'm still tired. Always tired.
So we're back. Tyler is here.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us on
It's been a while.
not
Thanks for
10
having
episode.
me. Yeah, thanks for having me back.
You and I are playing chess,
Well,
if that's what you want to call it.
I will be fumbling around with these pieces.
And it's your move.
I go first.
Yeah. I think the last time you were on was probably 210.
Really?
I think it's been a minute.
I know it's been a while.
It's been a little while. I didn't realize it was that long ago.
It's been a minute.
Jeez. Well, thanks for having me back.
And you've already kind of alluded to what we were talking about.
Did I?
In the cold open.
In a very moronic way, yes. Very
Oh, that's
roundabout.
staying?
So, I mean, before we get into the main topic, which is going to be Rise of the Skywalker, spoilers, I will put timestamps when we start talking about it.
Is it Rise of the Skywalker?
Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, you
There
said...
is no the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For all I know,
The Rise
it's...
of Skywalker.
All I know, J.J. Abrams doesn't
Is it-
care. He doesn't pay attention to anything in these movies.
Is it the Rise of the Skywalker?
The Rise of the Skywalkers.
It's-
The.
I thought... Is it just Rise of Skywalker?
I think it's Rise of Skywalker.
It's the Rise of Skywalker.
It's
Okay.
the Rise of Skywalker?
Yes.
Tross.
TROS, because I keep seeing it abbreviated on Twitter.
Tross.
Yes.
Because ROS could also be Revenge of the Sith. So
Could it?
I usually see people do ROTS though.
Yeah.
Anyways, before we get into that, Tyler,
ROTC?
you haven't been on in a minute. Anything going on? Anything crazy, or do you just want to get right into the movie?
I'm crazy about Star Wars.
Okay.
So let's just... Yeah,
Let's do it.
I've just been chilling. I'm just
All right,
hanging out.
you've been Tyler.
I'm doing me.
Did you have a good holiday, though?
I had
Holidays.
a very nice holiday. I saw a lot of family.
Hell yeah.
Got to catch up a little bit with everybody that doesn't live here anymore. So it was really great. I had a nice time. A lot of family. A lot of food.
Yeah.
I,
Best meal you ate over the holidays?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yes.
We had latkes on Christmas Eve because it was the third night of Hanukkah. So that slapped. I was a big fan. I still have a couple left over. I maybe should throw those
Yeah,
out.
I was like, I don't know how well they keep.
Because it's like
I'm gonna
potatoes
listen
with
to this.
onions, right?
Yeah, I need to throw those out. I'm going to listen to this when it comes out and be like, oh, I still need to clean my fridge.
Thanks, Bass Tyler, for reminding me.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I don't know about you guys, but over the holidays, I saw Star Wars
How many times did you see it?
once.
Okay.
And I want to make a point of that. I've only seen it once. And I took notes
Yeah.
immediately after watching the movie just to kind of commit
Keep
my
it.
thoughts
Yeah.
to some sort of medium. I just wrote it down in like a little notepad because my Microsoft Word license has expired. So these notes that I will be referring to were written at about 4 a.m.
Hell yeah.
Spelling errors and all. I'm not gonna read them verbatim.
Okay.
I'm not gonna. What? I'm not just gonna get on your show and just read off of my phone for.
No, I was hoping you would read out the spelling errors.
I
too.
will. If there's anything like,
You have to pronounce it the way you spell it.
I will.
Kyle Reno.
Yeah.
Probably. But yeah. So no, I've only seen the movie once. How many times have you guys seen it?
I saw it once.
She saw it once. I saw it twice.
You've seen it twice.
I saw it twice.
Okay. I have some questions about.
Yeah, we're gonna get into it. Spoilers. This is gonna be the entire episode. If you haven't seen Star Wars,
Bye.
Spoilers.
see you next week. I'm
now.
sorry. But yeah, I did see it twice. I saw it.
Okay.
We saw it opening night, and then I wanted to see it again because opening night at this point is like half a month away. Like multiple weeks it's been since opening night.
It's been, yeah, I guess so. I guess
Yeah.
it's been.
So I was just like, I need to see it again. So I saw it yesterday just so it was super fresh.
I almost saw it this afternoon, but I decided against it.
Yeah.
I wanted to stick to as close as my first impression as
Yeah.
possible.
I wanted to see because I feel like a lot of reviews and a lot of videos, because I saw a lot of like YouTube videos talking about this movie.
Okay.
And I worry that,
Oh, it's my turn.
yeah, it is. I worry that talking about it either immediately after seeing it or having only seen it once can really, you're stuck in kind of like the daze of like, oh my God, that was either so bad or so good. And you're just stuck with this feeling of like, this is my initial impression and I can't get past that. And I'm just going to stick with this. Like, I think that's, like I said, both good and bad. Like, fanboys will come out and just be like in this daze of new Star Wars and they can't see past the shine.
Okay, sure.
And then people that go in expecting it to be bad and it's bad, they're like, oh yeah,
It was bad.
that was terrible and I hate it.
Okay, yeah, like you have a good point, and I kind of realized because I've talked to a couple people, like people at work, people I know, about this movie, and it's a very polarizing movie. I'd almost
Really?
say I think so.
Huh.
I've talked to people that hate the movie. I've talked to people that love the movie.
Yeah.
I just talking to like a couple of different people. I feel like it's more polarizing on a fan level, not so much a critical level,
Right.
than the last one.
Yeah. Because if you check the Rotten Tomato scores, because I guess that's a good barometer.
Aren't they really bad?
Well, the critic scores are like 50-ish%.
Okay.
Around 55 of the audience is around 80, I think.
Oh, wow.
Whereas
Really?
with like Last Jedi, I want to say it's like flipped. Like critics enjoyed it and audience was very meh on it.
I felt like critics were pretty divided on it, and as were fans. Fans more towards not liking it. I think fans had a more negative reception.
I think,
especially hardcore fans.
yeah, I was gonna say, I think fans online are super critical about it.
Yeah.
Anytime I see, like, I've heard people talking as we leave the theater and people at work.
Yeah.
Anytime I interact with fans outside of the internet, they seem to really enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's just the internet fanboys are
the
the
last.
ones.
Sorry, I got lost. The Last Jedi or the new
No,
one?
this is the new one. Yeah.
Okay.
On Last Jedi, I feel like everyone I kind of interacted with was mixed on it. Like, even hardcore fans were like, yeah, it had some weird parts, but I still liked it.
Yeah. This one, though, I've found if you didn't love or didn't like The Last Jedi, you probably liked this movie.
Yes.
If not loved this movie.
I think so, too.
If you either liked or at the very least appreciated The Last Jedi, you probably did not care for this movie.
Where do you think you fall in those categories, Brittany?
It'd have to be one of those two.
No? That's what I was hoping you would say.
Okay.
Neither.
I know this is controversial, but I just find Star Wars to be very, like,
You've said
slapped together and just not good.
Which is, for me, the most disappointing part of Disney Star Wars, which is... Because, okay, Force Awakens came out, and I know you guys kind of have some...
As time has gone on, when it came out, everyone loved it.
Oh, when it came out, I still like it.
Yeah.
I still think it's like as its own thing in the context of like this new trilogy. We'll get to that, but like, I loved The Force Awakens when it came out. I really, I guess now naively thought that that it was laying the groundwork for what was going to be a very cohesive story, a very polished narrative, and with every release, we're just finding out that is not the case, or I don't know. I mean, we'll never really know because isn't like somebody told me that J.J. Abrams was like on record saying that like, oh yeah, we were gonna bring back Palpatine the whole time, and I was like, there's no way, there's no way, and even if maybe you, J.J. Abrams, were like, oh, I'll do that one day, and didn't tell Rian Johnson, didn't tell anybody else. No,
clearly didn't tell Rian Johnson because Rian Johnson very much tried so hard to shut down any kind of parentage question.
Yeah, do we want to? I don't know where to start.
Yeah. I just want to say before you guys get into it.
Yeah, no.
Star Wars to me in this new era is very slapped together.
Yeah.
Like you said, the word that I've been trying to think of, cohesive.
Yes,
it's not.
It's not.
But like I'll think back to like the original trilogy and like I feel like he didn't expect to make a trilogy, but the first one did so well, and then he tried to make like a good story out of it, and it worked. Prequels, they are what they are, but I feel like there is a cohesive story there.
Yeah, say what you will about those movies.
There's a cohesive story.
Sure.
Not one that makes like complete sense or needs to exist.
I would say,
but like
sense.
There is like a progression of events that leads up to something.
That sounds like a story.
Yes, this trilogy I don't consider a trilogy. I consider it just what. That's what it is to me. So I did not like Last Jedi. There were some cool like directorial things that I enjoyed, some scenes I enjoyed, but I did not care about the plot. I did not care about any of the characters.
See, okay, sorry.
But I did like this one better, but
Really?
I still did not enjoy it.
You did not enjoy watching the movie.
I rolled my eyes a lot.
You also looked up spoilers.
I
did?
I didn't look them up. I saw that leaks were posted.
And you looked.
I looked at them because I just didn't care. Like, it's not something that I'm emotionally invested in. Like, you care a lot about getting Star Wars spoiled for you.
I care about most like movies I'm excited for getting spoiled for me.
See, I wasn't excited for it. Like, I wanted to like this trilogy, but it was clear from Last Jedi that I wasn't going to. So I was just like, let's see what bullshit they're gonna pull.
Yeah.
I just going back to J.J. Abrams saying that he planned it all along.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't be surprised if he is saying that and he told Rian Johnson that, and Rian Johnson was like, that's retarded. And that's why he like explicitly was like, no, get far away from that. I wouldn't be surprised if J.J. Abrams was telling the truth, Rian Johnson was just like, that's kind of a bad story.
But that's what that's probably the thing that I dislike most about this, is that there's just no cohesion between what these, because ended up being two directors doing the trilogy, and it just seems like they were each trying to take back the last movie.
Yes,
I think because I had a couple issues with the movie. I had a lot of issues with the movie that I think you could really narrow down to like 3 different things. To me, it was like that aspect that I just felt like it didn't make sense as a trilogy to me. I didn't like the pacing of the movie.
Yeah, it was weird.
And I didn't like, oh boy, what's the third thing? I shouldn't have started a list if I wasn't gonna.
Okay.
You didn't like how it didn't finish.
Yeah.
Well, I think, yeah. I mean, it
you can end your thought there. It's fine.
Yeah, sorry.
You're totally fine.
There are 2 things I didn't like about it.
Yes, he'll cut that back in.
Since I didn't really give my general thoughts, but yeah, I think all 3 of us here, maybe we should have found someone that enjoyed the movie, so it wasn't just the 3 of us dogpiling on this movie for the entire podcast. But I feel like we've talked about Star Wars movies enough. I feel like people that listen to us know our opinions on them, and they can remember Last Jedi, how we were not super fans of it, so it's not like we were going in hoping that this undid everything The Last Jedi did. It's like we just wanted it to complete the trilogy. And I just think that you were talking about the pacing, and it's just because of The Last Jedi and how it just ended and there was nothing to go off of. This movie needs to start at a dead sprint, and it does not let you catch up until maybe the final act.
And it's exhausting.
Yeah.
It is. I think I made a note here. It's like, the first hour of the movie is like exhaustingly fast. Like, I couldn't even figure out like what happened. It took me like, after the first hour of the movie, it took me like 20 minutes to like figure out, okay, what just happened.
Yeah.
And then like after that, I kind of forgot because it like ultimately seems.
I don't even remember the first part of the movie.
Yeah, it seems so inconsequential compared. I made another note.
I feel like with the Kylo thing, like that's what Kylo probably should have done all of the second movie, is figuring out this Wayfinder and discovering Exegol and things like that. And like the cliffhanger of Last Jedi could have been Palpatine. Like he's back. That would have been a great thing.
No, but then they reveal it in the opening crawl.
They reveal it in the fucking trailer.
I laughed.
Yeah.
I laughed. I got in trouble for not in trouble, but I definitely
You got some looks.
Yeah. Well, because the crawl starts in it's
dead speak.
Yeah, that, and I just like rolled my eyes and started laughing, and I was like, I'm gonna. Because what I was starting to say earlier is like with The Force Awakens, I really liked it, and I thought, okay, maybe J.J. Abrams is back. It looks like we're getting a couple new characters. I might really enjoy this movie. Like I went into it wanting to love this movie.
Yep.
I wanted to like this movie. I just want to make that clear.
I did as well.
As critical as some of my thoughts are about The Last Jedi, I wanted to like this movie, but then the dead speak was the first thing on the title crawl, and I'm like, I'm going to have an issue with this movie because it was the most like J.J. Abrams thing that he could have done. Because we knew Palpatine was going to be in this movie somehow, and before the movie started, I'm thinking like, you know what? As much as I would like to see some sort of backstory to this, they're just going to throw him in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he's just going to show up, and we're not really going to get any more explanation.
There was
than
really
that.
no payoff for it.
That's like exactly what happened. There was no like real payoff for it, and it was just like,
it.
But I had a suspicion that's what was going to happen, so I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna ignore this. It's a fact. It's what's happening. That's the way it is. If I stew on it too much, I'm gonna be upset the whole movie. Because that was my spoilers for another movie, X-Men: Days of Future Past. Remember how Professor X was in the movie?
Yeah.
But they did not really explain like how he was back in his own body for Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
That bugged me the whole movie. So I knew this was going to be like another thing like that. So I just let it go. I was like, this is not going to be explained well.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. Funny thing about Palpatine, did you guys laugh when every time there was like a big reveal for him, instead of like being like dead center on the screen, he was just always like around the corner somewhere.
Yeah.
That he was like being hoisted around on like the crane the whole time.
At first I thought
weird.
I was like, okay, this is going to be some sort of like inappropriate like The Last Jedi type humor where it's like, I'm over here. Like he's just like in the corner like you expect him to be.
Crumpled up.
I thought it was going to be like a visual gag where you expect him to be like in one part like on the throne and he's just like in the corner like
Jesus.
The one
over here.
The one thing I did enjoy about Palpatine and the visuals of him is there was a lot of lightning happening, and every time they showed his face, it was constantly like flickering, and like you could see like he had different emotions flashing across his face. I thought that was one really cool thing about the whole like Sith temple thing. I thought visually looked very impressive.
I agree. I thought that planet looked really cool.
Yes.
I liked that whole like pyramid type. I don't know if it was a pyramid really. But
yeah,
it was weird.
It was like a square.
It was
that
cool.
was like floating.
It was weird. I didn't get the design of it. I wish I could have
But it
seen
was
more
just-
of the planet to
Just
get
a
it.
Sith temple.
Yeah.
It was
And-
cool
I
looking.
like-
Yeah.
Ian McDiarmid. I don't know how to say his name, but I like him.
Sure.
I think he's funny.
The Senate. Yeah.
I'm the Senate.
Did you guys laugh at the Snoke tube?
I was just like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
This was dumb. I hated it.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. I thought it looked kind of cool. I liked like it was just like him like cloned in the tube, but I was like, this is ridiculous.
It's such a. It's just
I just it was just really. So J.J. Abrams was just trying to figure out like he's just like up at night pacing like Snoke,
Who is he?
Yeah, so it just seemed like a real throwaway, rushed explanation for his character, and I don't know, like why even bother? Why wouldn't he just come back and be himself instead of like. Right.
I feel like J.J. Abrams probably had something different planned, and then Rian Johnson said, this is dumb, and killed Snoke. So he's like, well, I need to have the big bad.
I also think it was because Disney, like, if you remember the marketing, like, it was all about this is the end of the saga.
Yeah.
This is the end of the Skywalker saga, the end of 9 movies. And so I wouldn't be surprised if J.J. Abrams, at the end of the day, was like, I need to have this tie in every single movie up until now. And that's why Palpatine had to be the one pulling the strings. As terrible as it was, maybe if he was writing for episode 8, he would have been able to hint more at it.
Yeah.
That's giving him a lot of credit.
Yeah.
But why did it have to tie together in such a literal and, like, blocky way? You know what I mean?
Because
like,
Rey Skywalker. Sorry.
I mean, like, thematically, okay, so there were points during this movie and the last movie that I thought were going to be very interesting, that they kind of did touch up on, but then they just kind of, I don't know, like, my biggest hope was that this movie was going to put The Last Jedi in, like, such a context that, like, it was like, you could really reevaluate The Last Jedi. I was like, oh, you know what?
I can see its value and why it matters.
Set up a lot of things, like, from the Force kids. By the way, what? You remember? Like,
oh yeah, there was a kid that could use the Force at the end of.
there were like
Yes.
hella kids that could use the Force, and there was just like the
Then they
implication.
don't exist anymore.
Yeah, it was so weird. It was like
And
The
they
Last Jedi was
exist.
like anybody could use the Force, anybody could do, not anybody, but like
The Force is with everything.
yeah, and it was, and I really appreciated that about that movie. You know, it was a little heavy-handed sometimes, but like I thought it was great, and I thought that was going to really play into this movie, but
I really
not at all.
appreciated how Rian Johnson was trying to steer it away from the Skywalkers, and it's not just like just that family and just
Yeah.
them being Jedi. Like anyone can have the Force.
Yeah.
Rey's not like some mysterious Skywalker. She's no one, but she's still got the power.
And that movie put so many chips on that when the Rise of Skywalker comes out, and it's just so like, no, she's related to this person, and like this is, you know, it's just very, very about like the whole like dynasty of Star Wars and the Skywalkers and whoever. It was just so jarring, like just the way that this movie like worked to retcon the last movie so heavily was just really exhausting. From like the Snoke reveal to the Rey Palpatine reveal, I you know, to even him like melding his helmet back together, Luke catching the lightsaber instead of throwing it. Everything in this movie was like a subtle, or I wouldn't even say subtle. It was just like a very, it was just like.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I just feel like the movie was like so like focus grouped into existence that it was just like, you know, people didn't like The Last Jedi. That's why like Rose wasn't even a character in this movie. I was not happy about that.
I wish they either just let her be adventuring with Poe and
What?
Finn.
Poe and Finn. Foe.
Poe and Pin.
Um,
Like, someone pointed out, I watched a YouTube video, that Poe and Finn really didn't have that much screen time. So if they had just put her with them, like, there would be no issue.
I feel like they were in the movie a lot, but I feel like they didn't do anything.
Yeah, they didn't really do anything.
They just didn't have, like, dialogue.
It was more ridiculous to just have her be delegated to, like, Princess Leia's, like...
She was
Assistant.
researching Imperial destroyers.
Yeah, it was just dumb.
She was a main character in the last movie.
They either should have just had her go off with Poe and Finn, or just written her out.
I wish they just put her in the movie and it was like, hey, screw what you guys think. This is, I don't know. It just really felt like, to me, just the way that, like, I mean, given the backlash of her role in the last movie, it just really felt like they caved into giving her a smaller role.
Yeah.
And that was really disheartening. I did not
I mean,
like it.
what about, from the other perspective, what if she was like, I don't want a big role?
I don't know. That's the thing. Like, I mean,
She got,
I almost...
harassed.
Yeah, like I almost wouldn't blame her if she was like, I want as little to do with this movie as possible.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case either. So that's why I don't really care one way or the other about Rose. I'm like, she didn't matter. Her character didn't matter in Last Jedi, and it doesn't matter in this movie. So I didn't really think about it.
But it could have, and it just felt
Well,
like
it
the
didn't.
fact that they didn't follow up her character at all in this movie with any sort of like substance is just, I don't know. It just really sent like a weird message to me.
Aside from Rey and Kylo, did they follow up with any single character?
No.
Did any character have growth?
I don't think so.
No.
I think they tried with Finn, but they just kind of gave him the same storyline in
Every movie.
movies. Yeah. And then
Rey!
yeah.
That's
like,
his
dude,
storyline.
it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. People can hear you. Like,
Yeah, and like Poe,
You're being very loud.
I think Poe's entire arc in The Last Jedi was him coming to terms with being a general and how to deal with it. And then in this movie, he was still coming to terms with it and still trying to figure out, like, he had the scene where he was talking to Leia's corpse, trying to say, like, oh, I can't do this. And then he sends the army in and he does the ballsy play at the very end and realizes, oh my God, this isn't working. And he comes to terms with it again. So it's just, there is just nothing going on. And even Rey, it's like she struggles with, oh, maybe I'm bad, but then ultimately, oh no, I'm still good. Like, I still am a good Force user, and I didn't really have to make a hard choice. My hard choice was, I'm gonna kill the baddie. And I don't even want to start talking about Palpatine and his fucking plan.
I feel like you do want to start talking about Palpatine and
You
his
should
plan.
start talking about the plant.
Before we move on, I wanna revisit Poe real quick, because I felt like they did try to give him character development in this movie via Zori Bliss.
I wish they would have done more with that.
Right.
If they were going to bring that in, why didn't they do more?
That's the
the
character
entire
that I'm
movie.
like, you either need to write this character or not put her in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I feel like they try to, like, add depth to Poe's character by saying, like, oh, yeah, he was an ex-spice runner, he used to be a smuggler, he has a seedy past, and it's like, dude, at this point, we don't even care anymore. Like, he's done so much, like, for this, like, this doesn't change how we feel about his character. It doesn't
That's
add
something
any
they
sort
should
of
do
complexity.
in Force Awakens
Yeah.
if they want to bring that up.
But even then, it's kind of like you run the risk of, oh, he's just Han.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because Han was a smuggler,
Yeah.
and he became the good general. So it's like, you're going down a dangerous path by going, oh my God, Poe was a seedy character in his background, and now he's gonna turn good. Like,
they waited too late to, like, let us know for us to really even care about that as a character.
like, I feel like if you went to the bathroom at the wrong time, you wouldn't have gotten that line about Poe, and then it wouldn't have changed anything.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter that he was a spice runner.
And it never got brought up again.
Not really. Like, just him and Zori have a relationship, kind of, but like,
I fuck at the end, and she says, nah.
yeah, and then that's it. Like,
yeah. I remember the third thing that I didn't like about this movie, and if I start talking about it, it'll completely derail our subject right now. But
Write it down.
We'll get back to it. I'll remember.
Okay.
I was going to talk about Palpatine, if
Yeah.
you're done with your thought.
Yeah. No. That's
Okay.
yeah.
Palpatine's whole thing was bring me Rey, and then it was kill Rey, and then it was, oh no, I'm done with you.
I'm going to kill my girl.
Yeah. And then it was, I don't need either of you. Or no, sorry, before that it was, oh, you need to kill me. And then it was, oh, wait, just kidding. I don't care at all. And it's just, if his entire thing was to bring Rey there so she could then kill him, why would he literally say, this is what you need to do so the Sith can live on forever? Why was that his main goal? What did he think Rey was going to do when he told her, when you kill me, you will then become a Sith as well?
Dude, I don't know. I was that whole thing was mind-boggling to me. It was just very like, okay, now what? Now what does he want? What are we doing?
That entire like conflict was just nothing to me, and like it was just so much like fluff and like let's make it super evil and super scary. Like when he gains the powers again and throws Ben down the hole, like why didn't he just kill him? So he could come back, obviously. And when he shot lightning into the sky, why was he only shooting enough lightning so it disabled the ships and didn't just blow all of the rebel ships?
Does every bottomless pit in the Star Wars universe just have like a little like gym rope off to the side where people can just like climb up?
Apparently, that's how Palpatine got out. Why do you think his hands are all so messed up?
Palpatine exploded twice, and I don't know.
And then he climbed up. I don't know.
I hate it. I just don't like it. I don't like it, and I don't know. People that I know that really enjoyed the movie were just like, yeah, that's the Force, you know. And I mean, they're right.
shitty.
They're
Is
right.
it?
I mean, that's all the explanation I need. The Force is just like a very vague thing.
But that doesn't make it good.
No,
That's
agree.
what I don't like. It's like, yeah, you can say that, but that doesn't make me go, oh, you're right.
Yeah.
I like it now.
I don't know. See, when I was a kid, I was like, you know, watching Return of the Jedi, I was like, oh, that dude's dead. He exploded twice. And like that's just like I'm willing to suspend a lot of disbelief towards these fantasy science fiction type movies to kind of go with whatever the story needs to do. But exploding twice
You're
is
dead.
not one of those things.
You're dead.
You're pretty dead after exploding in
Twice. It's like you're exploding twice, and then after the explosions, whatever's left of you is just floating around in free space.
Yeah,
like
dude, you're dead. You're dead.
Unless you're Leia.
Sorry. I don't know, and I'm sure that they're gonna probably like retcon this movie in like some comic book or some book I'm not gonna read or like something. I don't know, and that's just kind of the way it seems like this franchise works now. I mean, it kind of always was like that.
Yes,
but it's just more frustrating now that it's like due to just huge gaps in like quality production.
Yeah.
Before it was just like, oh, we have like these plot holes, let's fill those up real quick in a comic book, and that's like okay, sure, whatever. That's even kind of interesting in some points, but this is just like goes beyond that,
and it's there should be no excuses for this. Another kind of weird, dumb story thing that it got brought up in the Red Letter Media video about this.
Yeah,
they were talking about the knife.
It's dumb.
So,
like kind of how did they know how the Death Star was going to crash?
Yeah.
And which it was going to leave? Is that kind of what they said?
Yeah.
How do?
Yeah.
It's in like this like really tumultuous water. How did it not like break down even more?
And they just happened to crash just perfect, like a 2-minute walk away from exactly where it was going to line up.
Yeah, no, that was
so stupid.
When I was texting you about it, Tyler, it's like, this is when like the movie started, whatever, like it was very fast, so I was just trying to absorb it. And then it's like at this point in the movie, it finally let you like catch up and breathe. Right. And it's at this point in the movie where I was like, this is getting real dumb.
You know, I agree and disagree because I could take a little bit of dumb plot device.
Yes.
But just for the sake of the movie being at a speed that I could like comprehend, I was like, okay, this is dumb as hell, but at least like I'm not like my mind isn't like warping trying to figure out what's happening right now.
Your whiplash is subsiding.
I couldn't keep up with the movie. And I was just like, I just had so many questions. I was like, okay, well, what about this? What about that? And I felt like C-3PO. I was like, oh, slow down, you know.
On the topic of like dumb plot holes that I'm really confused about, like this knife. So at the beginning of the movie, I don't know. I actually don't know what time. Sorry, it's just a quick question. I don't know what point in the movie it is, but they're on that one planet when they find Ochi's ship.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I've seen that ship before. The ship that was like the bounty hunter that was looking for her parents.
The Jedi hunter.
So at that point, it's like implied that he took her parents.
Yeah.
But then it's told by Kylo to Rey that her parents sold her on Jakku and then ran away in their own ship, but then they were in Ochi's ship.
Yeah.
And, like, did they get taken by Ochi, or did they just leave Jakku and then he intercepted them at some point? And if she really was that close to, like, the ship that her parents were leaving on, and then it turned out to be Ochi's ship, how did he not just see her there?
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. Because I feel like they told you two different things that happened to her parents in the same movie.
I want to say that is, one, bad movie. Two, it's just a wrong, like, verbiage. I think if it was not like, I've seen that ship before, it was just like, maybe what they meant is like in her visions or something. Like she's
or the
seen
ship's
that.
like flying off. I thought that's what she meant.
Yeah, it was like that force vision she saw with it flying off while she's like screaming at it.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, it shouldn't have been that ship. What she should have said is like something about the ship. Like, I feel something related to the ship. Like she should have got like a thin force feeling about the ship, not literally like, oh, I've seen it before. When that doesn't make sense.
But I think they just didn't think about it.
They just messed up.
They messed up, and they were like, "Oh, this is the ship her parents left
That's
on."
what I'm saying.
But then they also tell you that they just left on their own. Like, it doesn't make sense.
See, I
That's why I'm
wish
saying
I got
movie.
as far as even trying to comprehend this as you have, even because I just can't even get.
I want it to make sense.
Well, I can't even get past the Palpatine had a kid thing.
Oh yeah, who would fuck that?
Do you think the conception on its own is like a horrifying visual to have, but then just okay, I just don't. It was weird. I was like, why? How would nobody mention that? Like most evil Sith Lord
has an offspring.
has like a kid. Like, don't you think that would be mentioned at some point?
To be
You really
fair,
don't think so?
To be fair to the Star Wars universe, secret kids and secret apprentices is pretty normal. Like, what used to be canon, the Force Unleashed games, those entire games, which had like comic books and other just like straight up books written about, was all about how Darth Vader had a secret apprentice that he was going to use to kill the Emperor with. So I am not that. Him having a secret child, yeah, I can definitely buy that. Think of Leia and Luke.
Yeah.
They were totally kept secret that they were Skywalkers.
Okay.
I think him having a secret kid is probably the most forgiving thing in this movie.
I think with that context, yeah, I guess I didn't really think about it like that.
Don't worry, I'm not saying like, oh, that's good writing. I'm just saying like I can get past that pretty easily.
I mean, I feel like you can kind of like justify it, but it ultimately felt cheap to me that they just kind of were like, oh yeah, he has a kid, and also I thought that Palpatine, isn't it heavily implied in the Revenge of the Sith, the third one, that Palpatine is Anakin's father via midichlorian conception?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? I thought that's what the whole scene was about in the opera, where he's like, he could give life through the I don't know. You like that whole thing, and it's like they're watching like the.
Is this the tragedy
the
of
mitosis,
Plagueis the Wise?
Yeah. I thought that was like. I thought that whole story was like supposed to be like a real thinly veiled.
I've never
implication. You don't think so? I thought that ever since I saw that movie, I always thought that was Palpatine just kind of hinting, "I'm your Force dad."
He might have, but he was also always lying to Anakin always. So, if anything, like he was Force implying that to Anakin and like making him feel a stronger connection.
Jedi mind trick.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think Anakin caught on. I thought Anakin was just
I sure shit didn't.
Kind of brushing his hair in that scene, or whatever.
Wouldn't you if you had his locks?
Yeah, I used to. That's
so
all.
Anakin
I didn't pay attention to anything.
Force Jesus.
That's what I thought, and I thought that like that would make Palpatine.
That was always the case because Shmi was like, "Oh, he doesn't have a father." Like, she has a line about that,
right? And I thought that's
remember this bullshit.
I thought that's where Palpatine came in. I thought that Palpatine was like, if we're using the Jesus comparison here, I thought that he would be like
God.
The heavenly father.
God.
Yeah, God.
So, do we have any other thoughts on Palpatine's fatherhood?
No.
Him being a father, because I just wrote that off so quick. I did not think too much about it.
Okay, I mean, I don't know. That bothered me personally, but I guess I don't know. I mean, I'm not as deep into the lore as you may be, because I didn't. I mean, but even then, yeah, I guess Luke and Leia were secret kids, so that makes sense. I'll give it a pass for now. Yeah. I'll give it for now.
I'm willing to shit on this movie, but only when it deserves it. So back to the Death Star scene.
That was trash.
Yeah, I liked it.
Okay. I mean, not even just the fight. I'm talking about the entire getting there.
The knife thing.
Rey taking the skimmer. And it was super tough and difficult. And then Finn and...
what's her name in the movie?
I've seen it twice. Don't know her name.
Did they say
Female Finn.
They say it once.
The other defected stormtrooper.
Yeah.
I mean, they were all defected stormtroopers, but whatever.
They say it once when they first meet. That's it. And then they never call her by her name or anything, as far as I know.
Cool.
Seen it twice, but I don't remember.
Timothy Chalamet
Character development. Anyway.
So
that's funny.
What did you say?
I said they don't Timothy Chalamet her.
What does that mean?
Call me by your name.
Oh, hey, that's good.
So Rey takes the skimmer. It's super difficult. They imply like she's only able to do it because Force, whatever. And then Finn and what's-her-face just end up going. Rey, her entire training and background is all about like climbing destroyed destroyers and training in the forest, climbing trees or whatever. And this is still a difficult feat for her to climb up this Death Star to get up miles of destructive whatever.
Yeah.
Finn and what's her name just do it.
Yeah.
They're just a little sweaty, but they do it.
I kind of just figured they probably had like a speeder, or like they probably
didn't.
they probably had the Millennium Falcon there somewhere.
didn't.
I don't know.
They had another skimmer. She
Yeah.
says that.
Yes.
Okay, so I just want to show that on the cast, it has everyone's character name except hers.
What?
Literally, just hers is missing.
Google doesn't even know.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So, yeah, they have a skimmer to get into the Death Star. Once they're in it, how the fuck do they get all the way up to where Rey is? Because they showed multiple scenes of Rey climbing and how difficult it was for her, and then they just kind of skip past that.
Yeah.
Her stupid vision of evil Rey, why the fuck did it have, like, super spiky teeth and
I don't know.
it snapped at her?
I thought it was cool.
It was stupid.
Her name is Jana.
It was Jana.
Okay.
Like Hannah with a J.
Yep. Jana's a name.
Jana.
And then the fight. And so why did Finn and Jana go up there if
To save Rey.
but she just said no and pushed them back, and then they just that was their entire point.
It was too wet.
Because I thought, oh, maybe like them being up there would distract her, and like Kylo would like get her a lightsaber or damage her or something, but it didn't even do that. And then we get the best scene in the movie. You get Shadow Leia that uses the last of her life force because she's apparently super weak and is dying for some reason. The character is dying. They don't explain, but they say this will take the last of her energy to do one final task. And you did not set up the fact that she was wounded in any way, but okay. And then she says, Ben, through the Force, and she dies.
Literally none of this bothered me. And
Goddamn, dude, I was real annoyed.
Because I think to me it was just the first part of the movie that felt like an actual, like, even somewhat thought out movie. Like, were there plot holes? Yes. But, like, otherwise it just seemed like a bunch of, like, really quick scenes, like, pasted together, and the movie slowed down here, and I could actually feel like I was actually taking it in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was able to take it in too.
I liked. I don't know. I didn't mind the Death Star scene. I liked their fight, the lightsaber fight. I thought it felt to me like the first time in a while in this movie, getting to my third point, that something was at stake.
Okay, yeah.
I thought it was I was really kind of like, this sounds corny, but I was actually on the edge of my seat. Well, because like it's the end of the movie, it's the last movie. Like one of them could get killed, and I was like, damn, like
one of them does get killed.
One of them, well, sort of. In a way, in a very real way. I don't know. I didn't really have an issue with it. I thought it was like, what I have an issue with is that scene happened, and then they just kind of walked it back. And because my third issue with this movie was that they were not willing to take risks with the story or with the characters. That was my third thing that I thought of a while ago. Because everything was walked back. Okay, so I don't mean to like skip around this movie so much, but
the Chewie thing. I'm
assuming. The Chewbacca thing. Like, okay, so that happened, and like I was like, whoa, like they, I mean. Kind of in the back of my head, I kind of knew that like he wasn't dead because there was still a scene where he had to be in the Millennium Falcon with Lando in the trailer. So it's like maybe they faked us out with the trailer, like how they did with some of the Marvel movies.
Nope.
I was like, no. For a minute, I was like, oh, that was really interesting. Like it's a tragic death of a beloved character, and it has some real consequences about how Rey was going to have to evaluate her powers. Like I thought it created a really interesting dynamic for 2 minutes until they were like, who even says it? Wasn't it like Richard E. Grant that was like, it's...
Yeah, we have a prisoner.
Yeah, it's Chewbacca. I'm like, what the... Are you for real?
Yeah. When he...
That was insulting.
When the transporter exploded...
Yeah.
I felt nothing because I think just in the back of my head I was like, they wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I was like, this isn't that movie. Like, they're not going to just kill him with an explosion.
And I felt dumb for even thinking that. Yeah.
And then when it happened, I think I rolled my eyes. And I was just like, okay, yep, you're not going to do anything.
I groaned in the theater. I was like, are you kidding?
I think people, like, clapped when they saw Chewie. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to, like, yell at them and be like, really?
You were shocked?
Yeah.
No, God. I thought that, this movie did that so many times where it was going to, like, set something up very like I thought that it's like, okay, this could be interesting. C-3PO getting his memory erased, which then I thought about. I was like, that's not the first time this has happened, but
No.
Anyway, C-3PO getting his memory erased. It was going to be like a somewhat of a sacrifice, sort of.
They had like the touching moment where he's like, "I'm taking one last look at my friends," and then just, but we have backups.
R2D2 has like his memory card or whatever.
And they even made like a joke like, "Oh, but you think like he's good at keeping those?" So I was like, "Oh, maybe they'll be like memories from like the prequels or like something old." It's like, "Oh no, it's literally before this mission starts."
Yeah, even that could have been interesting too, because I thought like when R2D2 came in, like he was gonna like, I thought he was like gonna do something like that. He was gonna like program him wrong, or like it wasn't gonna work, and C-3PO was like. I also thought they were going to extend his memory loss a little longer and get some more comic relief out of it. Like, that could have been a good opportunity for some, Star Wars humor.
Something.
But, it was just
I
everything
find
like
C-3PO
that.
funny.
Mm-hmm.
I find him
I thought it was funny in this movie.
Yeah.
They kind of tried to do the Empire Strikes Back thing again, where they're on an adventure and he's like, just very nervous and just
struggling.
Yeah, which I enjoyed
I
him in
like
the movie.
that C-3PO when he's just nervous.
Yeah,
It's fun.
And then going further on to the not willing to take risks.
Yeah,
there is the
so many
Leia dying, which distracts Kylo. Makes sense.
That didn't bother me.
That didn't bother me either. I was like, okay, we've seen clearly he has way more of an attachment to Leia, and so him clearly knowing that she died, that's going to distract him.
Yeah.
Rey then takes that moment to kill him, and then she also feels it and wants to bring him back to life.
I didn't totally hate it because I think it kind of was very in line with her, like still seeing some good in him. Still knowing that the Leia connection was what startled him so much. I didn't hate that he got brought back to life because of that. In fact, I thought it was one of the stronger points of the movie. I just think it kind of didn't do a lot from there with that. But
because his character had a single word after that point. Well, no, sorry. No, he had the
Han scene.
The lovely Han scene, which was so good.
Clearly meant for Carrie Fisher.
Yes. And they fucking rolled Han Solo out of whatever motel he was sleeping in.
Right.
Got him in the clothes.
He got like a little chunky.
He looked like he got paid $2 million and they tried to take a comb to his hair and he was like, "Fuck you, I'm doing these 2 lines."
Hey kid.
I liked that.
I did. I
liked the Harrison Ford scene, but then I liked
it. But the only thing that annoyed me is I knew it wasn't supposed to be him in that scene.
God no.
No.
It was supposed to be Carrie Fisher.
Yeah. But
this was supposed to be her movie.
What are you gonna do? I'm glad they didn't try to recreate her.
Yeah.
Even though they did.
More than they already did.
They did. Yes. I thought we weren't doing that. They did it a few times. That was very confusing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we're talking on Leia, her scenes, even though she was in the movie, were just so nothing. Mm-hmm. Like, she just had, like, a sentence that was always very vague and not actually, like...
Oh, she said so many things that just felt really out of context. I was like...
Exactly. And then, like, like, they were cutting back to the other character where they would, like... Yeah. Bring all the context into the conversation, and then Leia would be like,
"Yes,
never underestimate a droid."
Remember those Remember those soundboard things that you could download off the internet and prank phone call your friends, like acting like you were like Michael Jackson or like...
It was a Leia soundboard.
yeah.
That's one of those things where that's something I wish they explained in the opening crawl. Is just Leia died, and now Poe is in charge of the Resistance.
I think they could have done that.
They could have done that.
I think they could have done that.
They clearly have no issue with having major plot points happen in the opening crawl. Like,
right?
That would have been a better option.
Yeah.
Yes, I like Carrie Fisher. I wish she was still alive to have done this movie. But it did not turn out well with her. What they did not look good.
Yeah, it was whatever.
And then her daughter gave the rights to her mother's face to Disney.
That being said, if they were just gonna kind of like cram her character into the movie, I don't think it was the worst. I kind of I don't know. I didn't mind like her like distracting Kylo Ren.
Yeah, that was fine.
I just didn't mind that she disappeared later.
I just think it was ridiculous that her distracting Kylo somehow was so much that it killed her. That's what I think is a little too much.
I don't even think so, because I think that we kind of saw that with Luke, and Luke was like a Jedi, like full-fledged.
But did Luke say 2 words and then disappeared? No.
No, he did like all of that. Like he did like the fake out lightsaber.
Yeah.
But
He did a lot. He force projected himself for like upwards of 10 minutes because he had the scene with Leia. He was talking to people, and then he went out there.
Yeah.
Leia said a word.
Yeah, but Leia also...
And she didn't even project herself. It was just a word was transposed over the Force.
Yeah, but I think it was already established that is like a very draining Force power. So it didn't really... I guess.
To me, I feel like...
it killed Luke.
But again, there was a magnitude of difference between what the two did.
Yeah, but there was also a magnitude of difference between how powerful of Jedi that both of them were.
Luke hadn't used the Force in, 15 or something years?
What's up, Brittany?
If they had, hinted at any point before that Leia was getting older, being, unwell...
That's what I'm...
Then I would have believed that one word through the Force would have been enough. But, she seemed, fine.
That's what I'm saying.
Do you think a lot of that was kind of for us to read between the lines? It's like, oh, well, we know that she passed a couple of years ago. We know.
I guess, but at that point, just put it in the opening crawl.
Yeah.
Put it in the opening crawl. And, people watching it now will get it, but I feel like every filmmaker wants their movie to stand the test of time. 30 years from now, if people go and watch this movie... Younger people aren't going to know, Carrie Fisher died 2 years before this.
Yeah, it'll play out a little funny.
So why...
they're not going to read between the lines.
If you could have done it, she dies in the opening crawl, and she still reaches out to Kylo in that moment through the Force.
It would have worked.
It would have worked totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
It would have worked.
I feel like we're going long.
We're going long or going home.
Trash.
I just want to say that my biggest issue with this movie is that they... did not treat this like the final movie of a trilogy, in my opinion. No. It just essentially was a self-contained movie where I know it's hard to not compare this movie in context with The Last Jedi, but Last Jedi ended. The entirety of the Resistance was 30 people on the Millennium Falcon. This movie started off...
fully rebuilt. They had the dude from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, fuck him. I like that actor, but fuck you. You can't put him in this movie and just have us not go, hey, that's a Hobbit.
Who?
A what?
He was a Hobbit.
Are those on Tatooine?
No, who is this person you're talking about?
Dominic
Monaghan.
Yeah. He had the facial hair. And he was short. He was on the base. I'll show you a picture of him.
Okay.
I can't explain it.
He was Pippin or Mary?
He was Pippin.
Yeah, Pippin from Lord of the Rings.
He was in Star Wars?
Yes. I will show you, yes.
Okay.
He was a lot taller than you saw him in Lord of the Rings.
Remember, he grew between the two movies.
Anyways, so you had that Rebel Resistance just regrew. Kylo didn't immediately try and destroy them. Luke's lightsaber was rebuilt.
Oh, I made a note of that. I wanted to bring that up, yeah.
It was
I put who taped his lightsaber back together.
Yeah.
You saw the crystal literally shatter.
Yeah.
And it was a huge deal in Last Jedi.
Maybe she grabbed just like how she grabbed the books in The Last Jedi.
I guess. Then you had... They literally redid the Battle of Crate, but in the air at the end of this movie.
Oh, because of the...
Where they sent a distress signal out to everyone.
And then just people show up.
And then just everyone was like, hey, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I do care now.
I had an issue that I was like, okay, well, who are these people, though? We know it's, the one dude from, the new, Ewan McGregor's uncle.
Yeah, whoever. The guy that was the gunner in the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
Who was that?
I don't...
It was Ewan McGregor's uncle.
It's some guy that was in the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
And he had a line in this movie, and so people loved it.
I knew it was some nostalgic thing,
yes.
But you didn't know who he was, and I don't know who he is still.
Because he doesn't matter.
Sorry. The only reason why I knew, I was like, this is totally just some fan servicey thing that Lucasfilm would do at this point.
But it was just
Lando was back.
Yeah.
Did his character matter? No.
Yeah, because he was the most convenient person in the world in this movie.
Why couldn't that have been Janna's character?
Because it had to be Lando.
Because there needed to be sexual tension between Billy D. Williams and his daughter.
No.
It's not his daughter.
Oh, it's not?
Nope.
I swear I read that was his daughter.
No.
Okay, sorry.
It was... They're gonna do a movie about them or something. I don't know.
I did.
Let's find out together.
In the leaks that I looked at, the one leak that was wrong is they said that Lando was going to be Finn's dad.
Thank
I'm glad
God
they didn't do that.
Thank God they didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
I would be actually upset if they.
So, this movie just was. I think it's an amalgamation of. It didn't want to be the sequel, or it didn't want to be the end of a trilogy. It wanted to be self-contained, and they didn't want to take any risks.
Yeah.
Where they couldn't have the Resistance get wiped out, but also we need to make it a big flashy ending where we're going to fight 10,000 Star Destroyers, and they have this perfect weakness on the bottom of it that is super not protected, and we're going to have the navigation device on the base. Oh, but we can transfer it, but only to one thing. Also, why the fuck did they have to have a ground unit to go and fight?
I don't know.
Like, because all the ground unit did was throw some bombs at it so it would explode.
That was just like one of many things about this movie that I was just like, I guess that's it.
And we need horses because
horses are cool.
Because Last Jedi had horses, but we need goat horses.
I think so too. I like the weird horses that show up in this movie.
Did you also realize like there was just a ton of random aliens in this movie?
Yeah,
like constantly.
Yeah. I think they just kind of had to like they were like, yeah.
Yeah, like in the Millennium Falcon at the
Oh
beginning.
yeah, there was that weird slug.
Yeah, that was fixing it.
I thought I was like tripping out or something. I was like, what? What was that?
And then the alien on the iceberg instantly, and like we texted about the monkey blacksmith.
Yeah. And then I like the little guy, the cute little
Babu Frick.
I like Babu
The puppet,
Frick.
yeah.
Yeah, the line of Star Wars merch.
No Baby Yoda though. He's no Baby Yoda. I hope they do like a little series about Baby Yoda and Babu Frick.
Oh, that'd
Just
be
being
cute.
adorable.
That'd be pretty cute.
Like for kids or
like
something.
a kids show, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Babu Frick is peachy. I think that dude's nasty.
I think
don't know
that'd be
I think Babu Frick fucks.
He
Me too.
fricks.
Hey, Babu
That's
Fricks.
the kid version.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Um,
what about the worst kiss on film in history?
Okay, I'm like, this-
End of
is that-
sentence.
This
why
sentence
did
is
that
done
happen? Why did they?
Because clearly they need to.
I don't think there was any sort of.
Nope.
I don't know. There were.
Because there was so much tension between them in The Last Jedi.
Because when you have opposing sexes,
They need to.
When
They
you have
need
two
to be in
be in love
attractive
with each other.
opposite sex characters, they have to kiss.
It was
Yeah.
really awful.
Yeah.
And that was even like one thing that it was like another thing I didn't hate about the movie. I was like, okay, well, like, I liked a lot of the scenes. I wanted to say earlier, especially about the Harrison Ford, Adam Driver scene. I don't know how much of this that I am tolerating because I think it serves the movie or because I think Adam Driver is a brilliant actor.
He is.
And,
he's great.
Just as a tangent, I think that Harrison Ford is also Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I really enjoyed that scene.
I enjoyed
But then-
that scene because I like those actors.
Right, and that's why I think I liked it.
Yeah.
Like, and that's kind of why I want to see it a second time. I want to figure out, like, how much of this, like, because, I mean, Adam Driver, anything that he did in the movie, when he turned good again, and he was, like, fighting off the Knights of Ren, which, by the way, why did they need to come back? Anyway.
Because they're cool.
No,
That's
they were
as much
not
thought
that-
as we need to put
They
into
were
them.
not that cool. I thought they were going to be cool, but they weren't.
They look cool.
I liked everything that Adam Driver did in this movie.
Yep.
I think he was like the one thing holding this trilogy together.
But-
That's a little dramatic. I think that he was the best actor.
Yes. He was, every movie he was like the star
Mm-hmm.
in it.
But I don't think the acting was bad in these movies. I do think that like all of the main people did a pretty good job. I think they turned in really solid performances, but Adam Driver especially. I just love watching him and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Same.
I just think it shows because outside of these movies, like he's still going crazy and like getting big roles and other things.
Oh.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's a phenomenal actor. So
I want to see like one more episode of The Office, like that Hillary Swank is she hot debate, but about
But
Adam Driver.
is
I want a full episode of The Office about
Is he
that.
hot?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Is
Adam.
he hot?
I think he's an attractive
I
man.
don't think just knowing how good of an actor he is changes it. I think if you just saw Adam Driver on a bus somewhere, you'd probably be like, It's kind of a weird looking guy.
Um,
Still love you.
do you
I
guys?
do love him.
Because do you guys have anything else you really want to flesh out? Because I have some fun little blurbs that I wrote that I'm reading, and
I
think
don't
are
have
kinda funny.
anything. I don't care. Rogue One was the best Disney Star Wars movie.
I think that this movie, because J.J. Abrams was so upset with Rian Johnson, this movie was doomed from the start.
Yeah,
if
I
he
agree.
if he was willing to just let Last Jedi be the Last Jedi, then I think this movie would have had a fighting chance.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that was like the biggest thing this movie had going against it. Because I don't think the last there are things I really appreciate about the Last Jedi, and I think that the Last Jedi could have been a really good setup for this movie if they just let it be that.
Yeah.
Instead, they just tried to work against that tide, and it was just really frustrating to watch. I think that there were things that were set up in The Last Jedi, like kind of the ambiguity of good versus evil. What place does the Force and the Jedi and the Sith really need to have in the universe? And they even referenced it in this movie when she was like, I wanted to take your hand.
Yeah.
Thematically, all of that stuff that was set up in The Last Jedi was great. In my opinion, and I thought if they went along with that and kind of played into what place does this, good versus evil dichotomy need to have in this universe, and it just on almost like an existential level, it was very interesting to me. But then I just felt like they didn't want to take that risk.
Nope.
To get into it, and ultimately, like with Chewbacca, like with C-3PO, like with Kylo Ren, that was the biggest risk that they missed out on. And I think ultimately that's why the movie was super disappointing for me. That and that, the first hour almost gave me a migraine.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to sum up my feelings about the movie. But what little blurbs did you have?
I have some fun ones. The first thing that I wrote was Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good thesis.
Well,
let's see.
yeah.
It was a movie.
Thing. I like how Palpatine was always hiding around the corner. That's funny to me. What was that slug on the Millennium Falcon? Who taped Luke's lightsaber back together? The Knights of Ren are here, but who cares? We actually went over a lot of these.
Yeah.
Oh, light speed skipping is cool.
Yeah?
I
That
just
was cool.
wish it wasn't an appropriate metaphor for the first act of the movie.
Yeah. That's what this whole...
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
really funny.
And by the end of it, it was on fire.
Yeah.
Lando is the Captain Marvel of Star Wars.
The Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Mary Sue.
I'm glad Chewbacca got that medal.
Yeah.
I
Very fan servicey though.
But
I thought it was fucking stupid.
I thought it was very fan servicey, but I also thought he deserved it.
Why did she have it?
I don't know.
Because it was
Why
her
did
most
she give it-
treasured possession of all time.
Why did she give it to him then?
I
What
don't
did
know.
Chewbacca do?
It was horrible timing, but you know what? That's life sometimes. I think he deserved
Was she around then?
Chewbacca justice
It's
for Chewbacca.
it. Justice for Chewbacca.
No, that was goddamn stupid.
That was great. I liked when... thing I liked about the movie, I liked the Force Bond. The thing where they would be passing things off physically.
Yeah.
I kind of liked that.
That was one of the things that they actually set up for the end of the movie.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Like how Kylo was talking to Rey, and then he reached out and grabbed the necklace, and that's how he knew what
Yeah.
planet.
Yeah.
And
That was
breaking,
actually really smart
those,
writing.
I think those were some of the few scenes that looked visually very interesting.
Yeah.
When they would walk around and the scene, the background would change and stuff constantly.
It was a good visual payoff.
Yeah.
I thought it was really interesting. I
Yeah.
thought it played into the plot even. I thought it was actually smart writing without being too heavy-handed.
Yeah.
And I thought that it was a good build-up.
It had a payoff too.
Yeah, I liked it.
I think ultimately what we're realizing is in this entire trilogy, the Kylo and Rey scenes are the only ones that matter.
Yeah, and yeah.
You can keep going, but it's just I've been realizing
That's
that.
why they
Yeah.
kissed.
That is why they kissed. I liked when Oscar Isaac was like, "Weren't you a stormtrooper?"
Yeah.
We can keep going with this.
Yeah, that was funny.
I like
He
Oscar
had the
Isaac.
most wit, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's a good actor.
I thought evil C-3PO would be a lot more fun to put down. I thought he was gonna like.
Oh, because in the trailer he had the red eyes,
Yeah,
and it was.
I thought
like,
that was gonna go on for like the whole movie. They were just gonna have to deal with him being like evil, like a Frankenstein type of thing.
And they had like it would be fun if they had to like stop him from doing evil things, but like he's also just C-3PO, so it's not like he can actually accomplish anything.
Like they're trying to do something, and he's like trying to sabotage the plot the whole time. He's like,
like he's taking Babu Frick, and he's like menacing, and they're like, no, stop it.
He's just like actively trying to like mess up the mission. It's like, we're over here.
That would have been fun.
When they're trying to sneak around like the Death Star or whatever. I don't remember if that happened before or after they were on the. Well, there was no Death Star. Anyway, oh my god! See, this is why
it's like I'm in the writing room.
I like that Hux was a spy. I thought that was funny.
It was
this line.
I hated that. I'm the spy.
I thought that was fun. I thought that was funny.
What? Like, clearly you're the spy. You don't need to say it to them like that.
I like him as an actor. Donald Gleason.
Yeah.
So I thought the way he delivered it was funny.
Yeah, and then they just immediately kill him.
Yeah.
So it's like we don't get any more like context or any more scenes of him.
It was just so pointless.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So in capital letters, I put, why did Rey and Kylo Ren kiss? And then I put, also in capital letters, why didn't Finn and Poe kiss?
That is what I was waiting for the entire movie.
Me too.
Yeah.
Really?
I think they had so much chemistry.
It would have made so much more sense than Rey and Kylo Ren kissing.
Yeah.
Like,
They spent so much time in this entire trilogy together.
I really was, like, expecting that. Yeah. I mean, not really. I wasn't expecting Disney to do that.
They had the lesbians kissing in the background, and I thought maybe this is where they're going to make it. Not
that's
just
as
background.
much like screen time the LGBTQ community can have
in Disney. Yeah,
but maybe this is going to be the one time where they're like, "Fuck that."
No, it's Disney.
Disney's not ready to step up.
The mouse isn't woke enough.
No, and that's a whole other thing.
That's the next podcast.
Yeah. When you can edit out your groundbreaking inclusive scene
for a market
in China, then you're not being inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
But you are.
Two more little blurbs that I had. Why were there not more Force ghosts in this movie? When Luke Skywalker showed up on the island, I half expected him to like go back onto the island and like show that he was in the middle of a game of like Force poker with like Mace Windu and Yoda and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn.
That would have been like the Last Jedi to do that.
I was expecting it. By that point, I was like, he's just going to be hanging out with like all of these like dead Force ghosts.
Yoda's going to be sitting there with like a hookah in front of him.
Yeah. Mace Windu would be like, what was that all about? Luke would just be like, don't worry about it. I don't know. It's just something. And then I put overall thoughts on this trilogy. How did nobody get a limb cut off? Think about it.
Mm-hmm. Not once. Not once. Not never.
Unless I'm forgetting something. Nope. I don't think anybody was decapitated.
Mm-mm.
I don't think anybody lost a hand. I don't think anybody lost an arm.
Mm-mm.
I don't think anybody lost both their feet while flipping upside down.
I was hoping that Rey would have decapitated Palpatine like Anakin did to Dooku. Because she had the two lightsabers and was gonna...
He even said it!
Exactly!
He even said it.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
It rhymes.
That's what I was waiting for. That's how I wanted Palpatine to die.
This movie was like Star Wars trying to rhyme with orange.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it again. Not that bad.
Since we have the Regal pass, that's why I'm
gonna wait till it comes out on like the Plus.
That's what I would say.
Yeah, because I don't know. Like this is, it's like I'll wait.
It's the movie theater was pretty full when I went yesterday.
Really?
It was a holiday, so that kind of makes sense.
I'm gonna watch it again when I could get it on Disney Plus, and maybe they'll have a feature by then where I can like watch things at half the speed. I can just slow it down.
I swear I read somewhere that like the director's cut for this movie is like 3 hours.
There's a director's cut for this movie?
Yeah.
No way.
I read that somewhere. This was after like the day after I saw it the first time, so I might be misremembering. But I think that there's like a 3 hour long version of this movie.
That's kind of interesting because I don't feel like we've ever heard that about a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Like There's been director's cuts, but like all those are like retroactive changes that were made to the movie. And I know there've been like deleted scenes for each movie. You know, I mean, like that's any movie, but like I've never heard about there being
a chunk
the director's cut, like how they did that with like Apocalypse
Lord of the Rings
Now or Lord of the Rings.
But this might, because JJ's been saying so much about it, it might just be JJ being like, oh yeah, I had to cut it down so much because the studio wanted me to.
Sure.
I don't know.
That's why they wanted you to edit the movie.
But yeah, or they knew like, no, this movie isn't going to be safe. Just make it shorter so people go and see it. Because if you saw that Rise of Skywalker was 3 hours, how would you still want to see it like opening night and everything, or would you be like, I think I'll wait?
I go see it opening night. I mean, like Avengers Endgame was 3 hours, and
but you had a pretty good indication that that was going to be a good movie.
Yes. Yeah, I think you have a point. I don't think I would have seen it the night of if I knew it was going to be 3 hours.
Yeah, I would have waited.
I still haven't watched The Irishman yet.
Same.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. This is supposed to be a shorter episode, but who would have guessed it? We had a lot to say.
Yep.
So do we have any other final thoughts on Star Wars, this trilogy? How would you rate the new trilogy?
Knives Out was great.
What?
Yeah, I knew
Knives
he was.
Out.
How would
Brian Johnson's gonna be like? He's gonna have like over the next decade, I think, is gonna have like a real redemption narrative associated with his career. I think that people are gonna look at his Star Wars movie back. I think they're gonna look at that movie with more fond.
I respect that he tried to break the mold.
I do too.
I don't like it still.
I think people are gonna look and be like, it's like a difficult movie for like the fan base, but I think they'll be like, I think he'll be like remembered as like trying to revolutionize this franchise. I think I made up a word. Revolutionize. Revolutionize. I said revolutionize.
That's fine.
I think
good
he'll
enough.
be remembered for that. And then I think I haven't seen Knives Out yet, but I hear it was great. I think he'll make another couple great movies, and I think he'll be remembered as the misunderstood Star Wars director. I'm interested to see what J.J. Abrams' next project is going to be.
Star Wars?
Star Wars Forever.
Star Trek Wars.
Star Wars Into Darkness.
Star Wars in the Darkness.
So, sequel. How would you rate the three movies?
Rogue One
As a
was
whole?
really good.
Okay,
the
yeah.
3 trilogies.
Well, yeah,
I
just-
haven't seen.
Just in comparison to each other.
I haven't
which of
seen
the three
Force
did you like?
Awakens or Last Jedi since they were in theaters, so I don't feel comfortable
I
really.
feel like we watched Last Jedi at my parents' house after the fact, but
I don't remember paying attention to that if that happened.
yeah, that sounds right.
I fucking did not want to watch it again.
Tyler, I can give you mine.
Yeah.
So I would probably go. I'll just give you the number values because Force Awakens, that's a 5 out of 10 for me.
Wow. Jeez.
Last Jedi, 4 out of 10.
Ooh.
And then this is going to be another 5 out of 10. I just think with the Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker, I wasn't bored throughout the movie.
You had no time to be bored.
There was no time to be bored. There was enough
Time
going
to
on.
Think about anything.
But in Last Jedi, it's like there were literal chunks of the movie where I was like, this is pointless. The entire casino planet's just...
Now, what was
Yeah.
the name of that planet again?
Las Vegas.
No one fucking knows. It doesn't matter. So
Reno.
that's how I would rate this trilogy. So it's not like it's very high marks across the board. But it's also not a 1 out of 10 for any of them.
I don't remember what I actually rated any of the movies.
Oh, yeah, no, I think Force Awakens, like, when that came out, we gave that movie of the year, so, like, we all loved it when it came out.
I still do, as its own movie.
I'm putting it into context of this entire trilogy.
Putting it in the context of the whole trilogy
Yes.
is a difficult task that I haven't really gotten around to.
You don't
yet.
need to give me your, like, number ratings, that's fine, but just, like, how would you compare the three movies to each other? Which of the three is your favorite?
Force Awakens by far.
Okay.
The Fork Awakens. I'm sticking with it. The Fork Awakens.
Probably would have been a better movie at this point.
Not better than the Spork
It's
Awakens.
like a crossover of Star Wars and Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
Oh man,
It's the sport guy.
I hope they make that.
They're
Okay.
both Disney.
I still think that The Force Awakens was pretty good.
So
think
it's
it had a lot of
between-
promise. I thought that The Last Jedi, it really grew on me, especially after the second time I saw it. I still have my issues with it. But
So would you rate it in, like, you'd rank it in chronological order?
yeah, I think
Okay.
they just got worse.
I would agree.
And the new one, The Rise of Skywalker, I didn't hate it. I did not love it.
Yep.
I don't know if I even liked it.
It just was a movie.
It was a movie that I found to be very frustrating. I may have disliked it. I think it was probably a bad movie.
Yeah.
And wow, that doesn't feel good.
Yeah, maybe
that
I
doesn't
give-
feel good.
Maybe I give Rise of Skywalker also a 4. Because I think, objectively, both Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, to me, are below average movies. So I
Yeah.
think, in that framing, like, they're probably both 4s, in my mind. And then Force Awakens is just an average movie.
Dude, Rise of Skywalker, anywhere from that 3 to 4 range.
Yeah.
Really, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just hard to say. I don't think I liked it.
It's fine. We're here together.
Alright, we'll
Yeah.
get through this. First step is acceptance.
I think the most memorable scene of this whole new trilogy is the, like, kamikaze scene.
The Holdo.
That was her name?
Holdo.
Laura Dern.
Mm-hmm.
That was a cool scene.
She got an offhand comment. In
Oh
this.
yeah, they did. They
Really?
like said something about it real quick because they were gonna try
Yeah,
to do the.
Finn was like, "Why don't we pull a Holdo?" And
Yeah,
fucking Pippin or whatever was like, "No, that won't work. That's a 1 in a million."
No, that was stupid. Ryan Johnson came up with that.
But
Let's
also,
do something
but
else.
also at the end when the Sith destroyers, whatever the fuck these new destroyers are called, they had
What?
one of them, the ones that Palpatine rose,
His fleet.
whatever the fuck they were called. There was a shot on the forest moon of Endor, where there's like some Ewoks or whatever, and there's one of those in the background. Someone light speeded through a destroyer.
Yeah,
Someone did that to one of those
Really?
fucking yeah.
I remember that. Yeah,
You saw it like split in half, and there was just like pure white going through it.
yeah, I
Oh,
remember
that's
that.
weird.
So it's like, yeah, to me that was such a dumb way to kind of write that off because these are huge destroyers, all just in a line, just boom, just take 10 ships out there and light speed through them. It's gonna work.
I don't know, dude.
It was a 1 in a million, I guess.
Imagine taking like a physics class in the Star Wars universe. Like I'm sure like the science on it just changes every week.
Is there school in the Star Wars universe?
Yeah, they take you away when you're like 2 and you never see your family again, and they teach you things.
You either become a stormthose or you become a Jedi.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
it.
Yeah.
That's
Star
those
Wars
are your
is big
options.
on like child.
Enslavement.
Yeah,
Those are your options. Don't you want to have a huge family?
I kind of hate Star Wars now.
All right, that's where we're gonna end up.
It's like, welcome to my world.
So yeah, that'll do it.
Or you're stuck on Las Vegas planet where you have force powers, but
And you're also enslaved.
yeah, dude.
Name me one scene where a child isn't enslaved in Star Wars.
Name one character. What? Who wasn't a child slave in Star Wars? Fuck.
Rose was.
Rose was.
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker. No, Luke Skywalker. I guess wasn't. Okay, Luke Skywalker.
He was
Princess
not.
Leia.
He spent all of his life wanting to get out of that family and not work on the farm.
I would argue that being royalty is like being enslaved. Princess.
They had
In
no.
like, in like the Princess Ariel school of
Yes.
like I want to be where the people
Yeah,
are.
exactly.
So the two most important people in the entire galaxy weren't slaves
This is
as
like-
children.
Yeah,
Wow,
that's,
like, this
is
white
like-
privilege 101.
This is like a horrible commentary on like class and privilege and.
I think I like Star Wars now, actually.
Flip flop.
It means more now. It has more meaning.
Oh,
But no,
wow.
because the Skywalkers still like are the only thing that matters in the universe. So that's the message.
Oh my
Anyways, that'll do it for Star Wars talk. Everyone that's
Hopefully forever.
we'll see. Everyone that's upset, give us a comment. Tell us why we're wrong.
Yeah.
Try and make me
Try
like this
me.
movie. I
Yeah.
want to like this
Me
movie,
too. I really do.
but I can't. So hey, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Thanks again, Tyler, for being back.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be back next week with another guest, and probably talking about the first 2 episodes of The Witcher and just holiday catch up and fun stuff. So we'll be back. Thanks for listening.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.